Are you serious, guys? Are you serious? Get a cup of coffee. I got a fresh cup of coffee and calm down. But wow, everything's happening at the same time. I'm not even going to talk about Mayor Eric Adams. I mean, is he going to survive, or is the governor of New York going to throw him under the bus? The Democrats are coming apart at the seams, but that's not even a problem. We got bigger problems than that globally. And let me just say real fast, guys, Revelation 9:11, this will be the most powerful seminar I'm going to teach for 3 hours, not just only on the book, but on the Bible. Prophecy, 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 the word of God, everything that's happening around the world. We predicted it would happen, and it is. Asteroids! Oh, yeah. But Apophis right now is even more dangerous. And Apophis is coming on April the 13th, 2029. And it is, according to the charts, it's even going to be closer than they told us. I don't know who's going to hit us first. But anyway, let me just slow down for a second and let's get right into the current events. And we're going to start with the plane crash just this morning. Yes, you heard me. Another plane crash. This time, Arizona, and 2 people are dead. This happened just outside of Tucson. At 11, about a quarter after 11 this morning, according to reports at a small regional airport outside of Tucson, Arizona, a crash has occurred. Well, here's what happened. According to the reports, the small plane crashed at Marana Regional Airport. And I've seen the photos by myself, and yeah, it just exploded. The crash as this thing took place. We're still trying to find out. 2 people are dead. The crash occurred this morning at just there at the airport. I don't know if it was because the plane was coming into land, or was it because the plane was taking off, but I believe it was coming into land, but I'm not sure. There were 2 planes involved in this crash. Both were occupied, and 2 people are dead. The police have now confirmed 2 are dead in the plane crash involving 2 different planes. Now, I don't know if both were single engine, pilots were killed in each. It's still very, very sketchy. Let me just see. I'm going to just take one more glance at this since maybe something has got maybe a little more better info. Just give me 1 second just to see. 2 people are dead. Here we go. Let's see if they've got any more. The planes did collide in midair. You got to be kidding. This can't keep happening. This can't keep happening, but it's true. 2 people have been killed in a tragic midair collision. Another midair crash, this time in Arizona's Marana Airport this morning. Of course, that's out west. It is reported that 2 planes with passengers collided in midair as terrifying images are starting to circulate on social media, showing the thick plumes of black smoke billowing over the airport. 2 people are dead. Now, I don't know if they're from the same plane or if one was it just, I don't know. We don't know yet. It's still too sketchy. It just happened about an hour and 15 minutes ago. So we don't know yet. We're going to keep an eye on this, but this is insane. Another plane crash, another midair collision, this time in Arizona. Guys, something's wrong, okay? Something's wrong. Somebody's hacking our planes or hacking our air traffic controllers. But the systems, something ain't right. I'm just going to say it again. Get a cup of coffee. Everybody just calm down. But 2 more airplanes crashing in midair in Arizona. 2 people are confirmed dead. Don't know how many people were on both the planes. They were smaller planes in a small regional airport outside of Tucson, Arizona. Could it be the sun? Good question. Mike around the world said planes are going to be falling out of the air, but And they're falling out of the air, they're crashing, they're rolling over upside down, they're smashing in midair, they're crashing, going up, slamming everywhere we turn, plane crash after plane crash after plane crash. Something's not right. Something's not right. Okay. So we're going to stay on top of that. Meanwhile, let's go to the next story because it just keeps, it seems like we're going from bad to worse. On the next story, let's just talk about the Pope. We talked about it last night. His condition has worsened. Matter of fact, cardinals have been seen entering the airport. Cardinals have been seen coming in from all over the world. Not all of them, but several of them have showed up in Rome, have entered into the Vatican, and now the Swiss Guard has begun rehearsal for the Pope's funeral. And now I'm just saying, that doesn't mean he's going to die, but I'm just saying, in case he is going to die, the Swiss Guard, the Vatican Swiss Guard, has begun preparing for the pontiff's funeral. The 88-year-old, and I hope we don't got an issue here. The 88-year-old Pope even said, "I may not survive this pneumonia." He only has 1.5 lungs because he lost half a lung years ago with pneumonia. The Pope allegedly is very sick. He is very sick with a microbial pneumonia, which is a very complex respiratory infection that has bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites, all in his lungs, completely filled. He's in a very serious condition at this moment, very critical. The chest X-rays are showing that the Pope is extremely ill. He has even told his staff that I may not make it, and went ahead and signed some documents on how his funeral would be held, also how the conclave would be held and who would be in charge of the conclave, which is really amazing because this movie just came out called Conclave. I actually watched it 2 nights ago. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting movie. It has a weird ending. But shows you the complexity of the conclave and the politics in the conclave, as you can imagine. But anyway, the Pope is very ill and may not make it. And the Swiss Guard has started practicing rehearsal for the funeral. That doesn't mean he's going to die, but I'm telling you right now, it's not looking good. Okay? It's not looking good. So we'll keep an eye on the pontiff. And while that's going on, we have to also tell you that there's more issues. Let's talk about the hostages, okay? Because the news there, not good either. Tomorrow, Hamas is going to release 4 dead bodies. 4 dead bodies tomorrow. And then on Saturday, Hamas is going to release 6 live hostages. But the sad, very sad news is that this family here, it shows you a family of 4. The husband survived and has already been released. But the mother and the 2 babies are dead. The mother and the 2 babies are dead. Their bodies will be released tomorrow along with 1 other person. So 4 people, 4 bodies. Excuse me. The redheaded Bibas children are the youngest hostages in Gaza, and they were both killed. The one is a 4-year-old and a 9-month-old baby, along with their 33-year-old mother. They've all been killed, and their bodies are going to be returned along with 1 other hostage on tomorrow. And they were brutally killed. And then we'll know more about that when the The autopsies are held to find out the exact causes of death here. But what a horrible, 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 horrible scene. Now, Hamas is saying that they didn't do it, that they all died from attacks by the Israelis and that their own bombs killed them. But we'll know more about that. I don't believe that. I just don't believe it. Okay, because they already killed babies. I mean, we shouldn't be shocked by this. On October the 7th, 2023, when they came over the fences and murdered 1,200 people, they killed babies. I mean, they baked them in ovens. You don't even want to know what they did. Okay. So, here comes it's going to be an outrageous day tomorrow in the Holy Land. Please pray for the peace of Jerusalem. You'll prosper if you pray for peace in Jerusalem. And you can read that in the book of Psalms, and maybe I will, in Psalms chapter 122, verses 6 and 7. But yeah, it's a very sad day tomorrow. But good news is 6 live hostages will be released on Saturday. So on the Sabbath, they love doing this on the Sabbath, so that every day it's psychological warfare by Hamas. Can I have some coffee on that one? I can't. Okay, now we've got more information for you. Let's also go to I'll throw this in real quick before we get into the Trump, Zelensky, Putin situation. Guys, tomorrow night, it's going to be an incredible hockey game. The United States of America is going to be playing Canada for the Four Nations face-off, the National Hockey League's four-nation face-off. These are all pros. And these are the players that are in the National Hockey League that are all pros. And they split them up according to their nationality. Now, the United States is always the weakest because in the National Hockey League, most of the players in the National Hockey League are either Canadian or, from Finland or Sweden or Russia or, several Czechoslovakia, just all the different nations where it's colder. There is a few Americans that are in the league, but there's not a lot. But it just turned out that the United States has made it to the finals and will be playing Canada. Now, the two teams have already played each other once, and this is what happened at it. I just might as well get ready to drop the gloves, because when the USA and Canada went at each other the other night, it was ugly. 3 fights broke out in the first 9 seconds. 3 different sets of players went at it in the first 9 seconds of the game. So, I guess there's just a little bit of love lost here. We love our Canadians. I love our Canadians. I mean, the Canadians are our brothers and sisters. All right. But I guess on the hockey rink, it's a little bit more intense. So, that's tomorrow night. United States against Canada. They'll be playing in Boston for the championship. It should be very interesting. Just a side note in case you're wanting to know what takes out there. Let's hope that the United States and the Canadians have a good, clean game match, and nobody gets hurt. But look for some fireworks. Just watch, because they're pretty competitive between those two. I'll say Canada will probably win, but we'll see. It's going to be pretty good. Yeah, and if Canada wins, does that mean they don't have to be the 51st state? I don't know. Maybe if the United States wins, Canada has to become the 51st state. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think Trump and Trudeau are talking too much right now, so I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. More important things is what's taking place right now in the war in Europe. Trump, Putin thinks he's won it. Putin thinks he's on the brink of victory, and maybe he is. From my understanding, the negotiations, Marco Rubio was in Saudi Arabia meeting with the Russians. It was pretty intense situation. Zelensky's very upset because he has been left out of it. Macron had his own meetings with his European allies. He didn't have Zelensky there either. Zelensky was just left out of all the meetings. And Zelensky is according to Trump, shouldn't even be the leader there, because they should have had an election and he canceled the elections. And now Trump is saying, I'd like to know where all the money went. Matter of fact, here's an exact quote by President Trump on Truth Social this morning at 10:47 a.m. About 3 hours ago. Here's what Trump said on Truth Social. Think of it. This is quote, Donald Trump. Think of it. A modestly successful comedian, Vladimir Zelensky, talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go to war. A war that couldn't be won, that never had to even start, but a war that he, without the United States, started. And Trump's talking about himself, will never be able to settle. The United States has spent $200 billion more than Europe. Europe's money is guaranteed, while the United States will get nothing back. Why didn't Sleepy Joe Biden demand equalization in that this war is far more important to Europe than it is to us? We have a big, beautiful ocean as our separation. And on top of this, Zelensky admits that half of the money we sent him is missing. He refuses to have elections. Is very low. He's very low in his Ukrainian polls. And the only thing he was good at was playing Biden like a fiddle. A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast, or he's not going to have a country left. In the meantime, we are successfully negotiating an end to this war with Russia, something all people will admit only Trump and the Trump administration can do. Biden never tried. Europe has failed to try to bring peace. And Zelensky probably wants to keep the gravy train going. I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job. His country is shattered and millions have unnecessarily died, and so it continues. Wow! I guess we now know exactly where President Trump stands in this entire situation. It's incredible to me that the United States did spend $350 billion on this war, and that Europe only spent $150 billion on the war, and that Europe already has a personal guarantee from Ukraine that they will be paid back over the next 10 years. They're going to get their $150 billion back, dispersed among the countries who contributed. The United States gave $350 billion with no guarantees of getting anything back. Ukraine, and then this is unbelievable. Zelensky admits half of the money is missing. He don't know where it all went. Some of it went for, the war, yeah, but some of it went to prop up the Ukrainian economy during the war. And some of the money, we don't know where it went. And there's been rumors that a lot of that money kicked back toward the Democrat Party. And then Biden never even picked up the phone and called Putin once. Not once. So, are you serious? I think Trump is telling us exactly the whole deal. There's corruption. $350 billion US dollars sent to Ukraine. Half of it was wasted or spent or robbed or kicked back or partly bought mansions, or we don't know where it all went. And none of it is going to get paid back to America. And out of the $150 billion the Europeans threw in, they're going to get all that back. Zelensky still hasn't held an election, so he's technically, operating outside of an election. He's saying I couldn't hold an election. I'm in a war. And Trump is saying Biden never even tried. First of all, Trump is saying Biden, it should have never happened. It would have never happened if Trump was president. And second of all, we've wasted all this. We don't know where all the money is. We don't know who all was involved. And this thing is good. It's going to end. So he's basically said to Zelensky, you weren't even very successful as a comedian. The only thing you can brag on is that you talked Joe Biden out of $350 billion. And now we got to pick up the pieces and clean up this mess. And your country is falling apart and is busted. You're broke, busted, and disgusted. And the people are it's sad. Zelensky took advantage of Biden. There's no question. But the U.S. Congress let it happen. And the U.S. media backed it. So Trump has to end it, has to stop the bleeding, has to figure out a way to negotiate an end to the war with Putin. Putin has all the advantage now. So if Trump's able to get Putin to stop, keep what he's got, and let this war end without anything to really, what's Trump got to negotiate with? Let me ask you a question. What has he got to offer Putin to get him to stop when Putin's already, we don't want to send him more money. Putin's already on the offense. Why would Putin stop? What is Trump going to do to offer to him to get him to stop? Well, he's going to have to offer him lifting sanctions. He's going to have to offer him, I'll bring you back into the world community, the G7s and the G20s. He's going to have to, he's got to do something like that. I mean, there's no other way. You get to keep your land you got from the war, and that's there couldn't be anything else. And the Saudi Arabians have already signed off on it. And Macron knows it's going to happen. Macron held his own little meeting over there with his European Union buddies. They're not going to do nothing. They wouldn't contribute. They're not going to do anything but sit there and criticize Trump but yet they didn't do anything. Okay. So this war is going to come to an end, and it's sad. It's a sad ending, and Putin is going to claim victory, and Zelensky's not going to get to be in NATO because there's no way to, how are you going to get him in NATO? Putin won't end. If you say you're going to put him in NATO, Putin's going to keep the war going. Putin's going to just keep the hammer down. So that's what's going to happen. And Putin's not going to trust anybody in the global elitists, that European bunch. He's never going to trust them, but he don't care. He don't trust them anyway. He never has trusted them. He'll just keep showing up at the meetings because he will be invited back to the table, and he'll sit there, and it will just go on. And then what we've done now is we've set up and oh, by the way, Putin's not going to leave Syria either. He'll be back. He's already about ready to send Bashir al-Assad, the former president of Syria. He's about ready to shove him back to let the Syrians do what they want with him, as long as he can keep his two big bases that he owns there in Syria. Plus, he's got an underground, huge 7 floors deep underground military base, and there in Damascus. He's not going to give that up. So that means Putin will be still sitting there just north of Israel. And that means Ezekiel 38 continues to stay in play. And oh, by the way, while this is all going on, we don't have the hostages are still drip, drip, drip. They're going to send 4 dead bodies back, dead babies and bodies back tomorrow. That's not going to go over very well in Israel. And they're slowly releasing them. They're dragging it out. Nobody can get, the Europeans are still siding with the Palestinians on this. The United Nations is still standing with them. So this war, this whole situation, you can think about it. The last 4 years under Biden, what in the world happened? People fell out of airplanes in Afghanistan. The Middle East blew up at sky high in a war. Europe almost went to World War III. China's walked all over us and are getting ready to take Taiwan. We're trillions and $36 trillion in debt. Our president was asleep, snoring on the beach in Delaware half the time. Harris didn't know what was going on. The southern border was completely, absolutely, insanely wide open. Mayorkas lied to us every day. And Chucky Schumer run around, you know, and Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters, and these people just, they never stop. They don't stop. They don't stop.
Take it up.
Okay, that's enough, Maxine. Please. Okay, let me say this. We're going to we're 3 days away. If you got your ticket for this, people are getting their tickets now, getting ready for this. It's going to be a powerful 3 hours. I'm going to teach for 3 hours on Revelation 9:11. If you got my book, you have it, be ready. Even if you don't have the book, get your ticket and you can be there from 12 noon to 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon, from 12 noon to 3 p.m. live at my website. Get your ticket for that. Click on, there you go. Just go down to paulbegleyprophecy.com or paulbegleyprophecy.org. Order your ticket, okay? You'll get your easy link, and it's real easy. We're going back to the easy links. Get your ticket. We'll be preaching from the Bible. We'll be teaching for 3 hours on the book Revelation 9:11 and the Bible. And I just want to read this to you. This is from page 94 in the book. Is a Marxist coup underway in America? Let me just read what I wrote. Today, the result of this covert war on the United States is evident through the growing popularity of socialism and Marxism, college grievance studies, critical race theory, cancel culture, woke corporatism, pushing, of course, diversity, equity, and inclusion goals. Until recently, many people, especially parents, were largely blind to this Marxist cultural revolution that was capturing the hearts and minds of our youth and exerting a devastating impact on the family and marriages. Consequently, American society is now beset with high rates of divorce, child abuse, addiction, pornography, abortion, violence, mass shootings, and a decline in morality. If we look at the key strategies of the Frankfurt School of Marxists, it reveals the satanic nature of their deception and their operation. According to a former syndicated talk show host, Paul McGuire, their number one goal was to destroy Christianity. Their number two goal was to destroy the Christian family unit. Their number three goal was to destroy any concept of patriotism. And their number four goal was to destroy any concept of nationalism. They hated Christ, they hated Christianity, and they were motivated by the spirit of the Antichrist. And across college campuses nationwide, cultural revolutionists in the 1960s began promoting socialism, communism, atheism, feminism, mass migration, humanism, globalism, multiculturalism, and all of this to undermine the Judeo-Christian culture, liberty, and the morality of America. Instead of focusing on the basic education like reading, writing, and arithmetic, and providing young people with broad liberal arts education, colleges and public schools for decades have spent an inordinate amount of time indoctrinating young people into the tenets of cultural Marxism as well as socialistic and communistic ideologies. And as a result, 44% of young people between the ages of 18 and 29 and 40% of people from ages 30 to 49 now view socialism somewhat or very favorable today, compared to 36% of all U.S. adults. While 57% of the public continues to view capitalism favorably, that number has dropped by 8% since Biden took office, according to the national survey by the Pew Research Center conducted in 2022. That's just a little bit of what we're going to talk about Saturday. That's just a little bit. What I'm saying is the Bible, Jesus said it in Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21. Jesus said that there would be false Christ and false prophets. Okay? See that you be not deceived. For many false Christ and false prophets shall come, and they shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdoms against kingdoms, and there'll be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in different places, divers places, and all of these are the beginning of the sorrows. Guys, it's getting ugly out there. And men's hearts are going to fail them for fear for looking after those things coming up on the earth. And one scripture says in Luke 21, persecution is going to come to the church, persecution to the Jews, persecution to anyone that names the name of Christ, and governments collapsing, social norms being eroded, Hollywood corrupting the minds, social platforms used to indoctrinate young people into Marxist communist views. And people will be absolutely departing from the faith. Here's what Paul said: for many shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies with hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. Guys, we're living in the last days. We're living in the end times. We got to get people right with God. We got to get right with God. We better get everybody talking to God. We need to repent of our sins, confess our sins, ask Christ to forgive us, and get right with God. He was saying grace over a Tuesday blue plate special when the man in the next booth said, don't you watch? Don't you know that God's a myth? I hate to see you waste your breath. There ain't no use in you talking to a ghost that don't exist. The praying man said amen and looked up from his plate and said, you may not talk to God right now, but there's gonna come a day. If you're a farmer in the field, praying for the rain, or you curse him at the gravesite, 'cause he called a loved one's name, you can thank him, you can blame him. Either way, you're gonna face him, whether you believe in him or not. In the end, everybody talks to God. That's a good idea, Jennifer. Thank you. That is a great idea. I'll definitely be teaching on discernment Saturday, but in our next webinar also. The man in the booth went quiet because he didn't have a comeback. So he shrugged it off and he paid his tab. He shuffled out the door. And the praying man who prayed for the man who drove away was hoping he would see the light before it got too late. But how was he to know he touched an unbeliever's soul? Who got that conversation 2 red lights down the road? If you're a farmer in the field, praying for the rain, or you curse him at the gravesite, 'cause he called a loved one's name, you can thank him, you can blame him. Either way, you're gonna face him, whether you believe in him or not. 'Cause in the end, everybody talks to God. Everybody talks to God. You can thank him, you can blame him. Either way, you're gonna face him, whether you believe in him or not. 'Cause in the end, everybody talks to God. Everybody talks to God. We all talk to God. Thank you so much. It is a great song. Aaron Lewis recorded this song, and first time I heard it, I said, I got to record that. And I didn't hear it till the morning I was going to the studio in Nashville, Tennessee to record this album. And I said, I got it. That's it. I was missing one song from the album. I said, that's it. That's the one. I'm going to put it on there. It's amazing. Guys, I'll be back. Of course, don't miss tonight. Getting Ready show that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern over at www.ffctv.church at 7 p.m. I'll be with Pastor Melvin Whittington. Guys, earthquake map, you want me to look at it? Okay. Something else happening? Okay. There was a 5.7 in Indonesia earlier today and a 5.6 at Papua New Guinea. Greece is still shaking, 4.0. 5.1 again, Indonesia, 4.6 Chile, 4.6 Alaska, 4.8 Timor, 4.6 Tonga. Yeah, 4.7 Papua New Guinea just happened. A lot of activity over there in that Papua New Guinea area. There's a lot of cluster of big quakes over there. There was also a 2.9 at Pistol River, Oregon. And there was a 2.9 at Stanley, Idaho. Just saying. Several up in Alaska. They've still got quakes going on down there in South America. 4.6 Chile. 4.4 Chile, so we were talking about that yesterday. So yeah, a lot of quakes. Thanks you for bringing that up. A lot of things happening. And of course, the floodwaters that hit Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, and parts of North Carolina, not good. Massive flooding, 100-year-old floods, 100-year floods in parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. So pray for those folks as well. There's a lot going on, guys. Lot going on. A lot to pray about, as you can see. It's going to be a really tough day tomorrow in Israel when they bring the bodies of 4 hostages home, and 2 of them are little babies. It's not going to go over well, okay? It's not going to go over well. Yeah, there might have been a 3.8 in Hawaii. I didn't even call it out. I got a bunch of earthquakes. So, yeah, there it is, 3.5 in Hawaii. They might have downsized it on you. 3.5 it's saying now, but yeah. All right, guys. It's getting crazier. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. I know BC Begley posted 4 videos earlier this morning. You might want to check those out. And I also did a video where I actually show you how close that asteroid 2024 YR4 is going to come to the Earth. Absolutely scraping, if not hitting us, in December of 2028, and then again in December of 2032. And the chart I used to show you actually shows it coming even closer to impact in 2028, but you can't go by these instruments I'm using, although they are very, very good. They're not the official Jet Propulsion Laboratory exact accurate, but they're close. Okay, they're close. They let you know that this is. And then I went this morning after that, did that video, and I went ahead and did Apophis on the system. And Apophis is showing right now that on April the 13th, 2029, that is actually going to even be closer than to 2024 YR4. And nobody's talking about it. It's even closer. And they're already saying that Asteroid 2024 YR4, they just raised it again, is now at 3.1% chance of impact. 3.1% chance of deep impact. They started out saying we had a 1.2% chance, which is still closer than the percentage they've been given Apophis. But now they're saying it's a 3.1% chance of impact. But when I go to the instrument and look, Apophis comes up closer. So what does that mean? Okay. So guys, go read the Bible. When you read about these when you read Revelation chapter 8, there's 2 deep impacts that hit the earth. And I'm just wondering, is this the 2 asteroids that's going to do it? Are we going to get hit in 29 and in 32? Or are we going to get hit in 28 and 29? I don't know. But, and is there more? Because we didn't even know that Asteroid 2024 YR4, we didn't even know that asteroid existed. We didn't even know it existed. And then we just had 2. Yes, I did a 2 plane crash. Yes. 2 planes crashed midair. They collided midair. We talked about that, Troy, early, and you just got here. Yeah. And 2 people are dead. So we have 2 more planes crashing midair. That's just outside a little airport outside of Tucson, Arizona. It's getting insane. And the Pope is near death. And Trump is throwing Zelensky completely under the bus because half of the money's missing that we sent Zelensky. Half of the money, $350 billion. Half of it's gone. Zelensky said it's missing. He don't even know. Putin won that war. And the best thing could happen now is Trump get us out of this thing somehow and still save Ukraine as a country. I mean, he's basically got to save Ukraine. And then he's got to get Putin to stop. And to get Putin to stop means he'll have to lift sanctions off of Putin, maybe return his $100 million yacht that Biden stole, and roll out the red carpet. As a matter of fact, that's why Trump is going to meet Putin in Saudi Arabia. And then Putin's going to come to the White House. And then Trump's going to go to the Kremlin. All of that is to make Putin look better and to keep Putin from taking Ukraine. And the Europeans are going to be very upset, and the media is going to lose their minds. But the Democrats are going to absolutely go insane. But they're already insane because Doge, because of what Doge is finding, all the corruption. It's just unbelievable. This thing is falling apart, guys. Jesus is coming soon. That's why your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but always in the power of God. Are you serious? Are you serious? I'll be back with more. I'm telling it the way it is. This is the only place that anybody ever tells it the way it is.